Here we go, we're back at it again. We have another TMR installation. Today we are going to be working on this DualSense Edge controller. And this isn't going to be like your typical standard PS5 controller. This one, the modules are going to come out and we're going to put in these Gulikit TMR sticks in there, and they're tension adjustable, which is pretty cool. I have not had great luck with the Gulikit, but this was a customer requested, so I'm going to do whatever the customer wants. They look good. They're awesome. The first pair that I've gotten, the sticks were actually, I don't know if they were broken or what, but they were bent out of place. So basically it wasn't centered. It was shifted off to the right a little bit. I did contact them. They asked me a couple questions. I showed them pictures. I showed them pictures of the installation. They gave me a refund. It's going to come with all of these thumbstick adapters, the adjusting tool. Got to make sure it's clicky. That's always very important. But they did actually give me a refund, so that was okay. Here's the sad part, though, is that they were already installed on the board. And so the board had already been repaired once. I went ahead and put the Gulikit on it the second time. So this was now the third time that the board was going to get soldered to, and I just don't, that's a little too much for the board. It can be done. I just didn't want to keep risking it. There's a little bit of wear and tear on this controller. So even though they gave me a refund, that was cool and all, but I didn't want to attack the board again. So I kind of just left it. We're going to go ahead and start by removing the front plastic piece right here that's over the modules. And on the back right here, there's just going to be a little tiny tab. You're just going to press it to the side carefully. Once you do that, it's going to pop right off. We're just going to set that to the side. Now you're going to have these two tabs right here. You just gently pull them up, and then that's going to unlock the modules, and then they can be slid out. From there, we're just going to set the controller to the side. We don't need it anymore. We're going to be working on the modules. This is going to be the Generation 2, I believe. It has the 3 screws, and then there's going to be a little tiny tab right there. And we're just going to cut that with a knife, an X-Acto knife, something sharp. And then we're going to take the 3 screws out. That's where the little tab, it's a little plastic welded tab on there. It's very easy to cut. Just make sure you don't cut yourself. Once you get that, a little bit of leverage here helps. There you go. You see it pop out, and it's on my finger right there. It's that small. So we're done with that. Now I'm going to work on getting the 3 screws out. So take those out real quick. You're not going to get it mixed up with anything. There's no other screws, and they're all the same size. So you don't need to sort them or anything. As long as you got that tab cleared off, then this is just going to pop right out. It's very easy. There's no glue on this one. The glue is the one that has the 1 screw. Set that part to the side. Now you're going to have to separate the thumbstick. Just pull that off. Set that to the side. And then I can just pull the board out at this point. You might have to kind of finesse it a little bit. It does get stuck on one of these little pieces, and then it just pops out. Then you're going to have your button. You can leave it in. I found that when reinstalling it, it did need to be removed and then reinstalled after. It was just easier for me. Here is the module. This is has a little bit of hair in it. It's just a standard Alps. It's just like any of the regular controllers. And that's why they're so susceptible to the stick drift. Right here is going to be one of the points that we're going to have to do the wire mod to calibrate it. Let's get our PCB board ready. And I tried to use the smaller one that I had, and it was just, I did not like it. So I'm going to try to use this bigger one here. I did have better luck with this one, and I didn't mind it, so it was fine. It worked. I got my soldering iron ready, and it's warming up. Me personally, I would not use the liquid flux again. This did cause some splatter. And now that I look back at it, I probably shouldn't have used it. And I think also I used a little bit too much solder of the leaded solder when I put it on. It's kind of the combination of the both. Using the soldering iron, I got some splatter, and that was not good because, as you can see right in the middle there, there's a lot of capacitors, the RAM chips, stuff like that, and it causes a huge headache. Luckily, I was able to fix it, and it wasn't a big deal, but I would probably not do that again. I'm going to come in now and add some leaded solder. Try to make this a little bit easier. Touch on all the points. While I am here and I have all that out, I'm going to go ahead and touch on that, the wire mod point right there. During this time, my other soldering iron has been warming up, so this one is going to be ready to go. You need to give it ample time to get hot. Pretty self-explanatory. You just give it a little gentle pull on the bottom, and then I'm just going to touch it on the top. Nice and easy, and it should just pop right out. There we go. Quick and painless, but like I said before, it did cause a little bit of splatter. I'm going to see if I got it on camera here. It didn't show up on there. It was actually pretty small, but it is what it is. You just got to trust me. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up now and get it ready. Here it is with the snap of a finger. It's all cleaned up. Looking nice and perfect. So now we're going to get our new stick ready. Just going to take the thumbstick off here so we don't damage it. And you want to try to get your pins as straight as possible. And then just gently press it in. It should not have to be forced, and it should go in nice and easy. As long as all your prep work is done and you pay attention to the holes and make sure that they're cleaned out, it should go nice and smooth. Let's get this back on the PCB holder. And we're going to get some flux back on there. I'm going to use paste this time. I am not going to use the liquid. And if you purchase liquid, at this point, do not use any liquid flux. The reason for that, it is very, a lot of it is very sticky, even though it's a no clean flux. And it needs to be cleaned. And don't believe what they say. But anyways, the holes are exposed right now and they're open. So when you add that liquid flux to it, it'll flow through the holes and down to the joystick. While they are TMR and they're magnetic, it will still cause issues down the line. So you don't want to use that. So that's why I'm using paste here. And it works great. It's fine. So let's get the solder put back on. I thought that I had the focus corrected, but I guess I did not. So I apologize about that. Please enjoy my hand. You don't want to go too heavy on the solder, but you also don't want to not put enough. So you got to find that balance. It's right in the middle. Once that's all done, we're going to clean it up, get rid of all the excess flux and any other residual stuff that's hanging around. Make it look nice and pretty. Since it's going to be encased and nobody's going to see it, except for you guys, of course. And we all know that the internet is very judgmental. Feel free to roast me in the comments. Not that you can see anything anyways, but whatever. And there we go. We got the finished product. Just going to examine everything. Make sure that it is nice and seated on the board still. And everything looks good. Now here comes the fun part. All of that work was for nothing if you're not able to do the wire mod for the calibration. I'm just laying down some pieces of tape here just to protect anything on the board and just make sure that the wire doesn't touch anything I don't want it to touch. Once I have that where I want it, I'm going to go ahead and use some of my solder wick, and I'm just going to pull out a little hair strand. This thing is tiny. And then I'm just going to measure it out. You don't want it too long. You just want it to go from point A to point B. There's two spots that you can do this. The closest, and the one that I should have done, is going to be right where my index finger on my left hand is. And that's one of the soldering points for the joystick. On this first one, I'm doing it on the test point right under the RAM chip. It's still pretty easily done there. I didn't have any difficulty with it, but looking back at it now, why make it harder on yourself? It's next to a lot of components, and a lot of things can go wrong, so it's better to just stay away from it. So I'm going to switch my soldering tip to a more smaller one. Just make sure everything's right where I want it to be. I don't have a digital microscope, so I'm kind of just eyeballing this here. I can see it. It wasn't too difficult, but it does just make it a little bit harder. You got to take your time with it and be more patient. And once I had that little point right here soldered, I just went ahead and broke off the excess. Since the wire is so small, it's pretty easy. But my tweezers were not cooperating because I think one edge is a little bent. But anyways, I got it on there. And let me try to zoom in here for you guys. There we go. So you can see where the first test point is and the second one. Once that's done, then we can go ahead and put the module back together. So we're going to grab the top plate, and this is where I was talking about the button kind of gets in the way. So you just take the button off, and then you'll be able to move the thumbstick to one side, and then it'll be able to just slide right back in, and then you just put the button back in. Once that's done, you just put the bottom plate back on. It's going to have a little bit of a gap, but it's not going to be an issue, and it's not going to be a big one at all. And then you're just going to put the screws back in. Now for this, I am going to calibrate the modules, and then I'm going to take this back apart and remove the wire. There's been some rumors on some of the Reddit forums and stuff like that that leaving the wire on, it was initially the thing back when this mod was first created, but now there's a lot of talk of Sony possibly breaking controllers that have this wire mod installed while doing an update or something like that. And so it's not my controller, so I just let the customer know about that kind of situation and just let them know, hey, if I leave the wire mod on there, you will be able to calibrate in the future if you ever wanted to, but you won't be able to safely update your controller. And we all know PS5 and Sony's, it's every time you boot the damn thing up, they want you to do an update. So me personally, I'm going to calibrate it. Once the calibration is complete and it's saved, it sticks with the module and you won't lose calibration. The only reason that you may need to calibrate in the future is if something was to fail with the Gulikit itself, or wear and tear, or if there was dirt inside of there and just something was to cause it to kind of come out of balance. That's the only reason that you would need to recalibrate it. But as long as you keep it clean, keep it in good condition, you won't ever need to calibrate it after this. It's one of the benefits of TMR. So I'm going to get this hooked up to the PC now and get it calibrated. Everything with it went great. I know the video kind of jumped there, but everything with the calibration went fine. You just use the website that everybody uses, and then you just have to unlock it before you do the calibration. If you calibrate it while it's locked, you're basically wasting your time and doing nothing. So I'm now going to work on the second one. I'm going to fast forward this since you already saw the process on the first one. The second one is going to be the same process. There's nothing different. The only difference on this one was I didn't do that small point for the wire mod. I ended up doing the different point, the updated point. So I'll show that so you guys can see that. It's a lot easier, and especially if you're not using any kind of digital microscope or anything like that, it'll be a lot easier to complete it. And side note, I told the customer that I was going to show him why he had stick drift, and here you go. What are those things called? The control freaks. All that wear and tear from the control freak, the foam, ended up working its way down to the joystick and to the potentiometers. Got all gunked up inside of there, and that, sir, is the reason for your stick drift. All over it. That is the number one killer of these Alps potentiometers. I learned my lesson the first time from all that splatter, so I am going to be removing the solder this time. This will dramatically help the splatter situation and make sure that I don't ruin this. There we go, nice and easy. So that's going to be the new test point that you can do. It's a lot easier to get to that one. And then we're just going to put this module back together now. And just like the first one, just remove the button. Not the button on the board, but the button on the top part of the casing. And then you just have to kind of move the joystick in a way that it will slide right back in. And once you hit that sweet spot, it'll just go. And go. Right now. Right now. There we go. Then you just pull up on the board just slightly, and you can get the button right back in. It's pretty easy. And then you just drop the board back in. I like to make sure everything is seated correctly and working properly before I move on to the next step. That's just how I am. Get that bottom part of the case back on and get the screws back on. You don't have to do anything with the tab. I don't know if I mentioned that in the first part, but you just leave the tab the way it is. The screws hold it in just fine. Once you verify that everything is still nice and clicky, just like that, you're going to be all done. You just get the calibration done. If you'd like to see a video on that, reach out, leave a comment. And then once the calibration is done, you remove the wire. That's it.